Driver Carrington gets dumped by Benami. The leaders are winding up here. Daytona. The big one is out. Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the All-American ARCA Series here for the Crew Chiefs Corner 200, presented by Open Group. As always, I'm your host, James East, bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second, as we get ready to head out to the road course in the good old land of Canada. Looking forward to seeing what's going to happen here tonight, our 10th race of the season. Right now, single car qualifying is underway with Jumpin' Johnny Eckert sitting on top of pole, making his way back out after a bit of a hiatus after being race control. Let's see who else is out on track. We got DJ Weeks Jr. making his way around. Qualifying about to end this. Let us know, as always, who you're cheering for, who's not. As a lot of these drivers will have the broadcast pulled up as we get our trackside tip from Race Control, the tunnel count, the weekly tunnel count that we've come to know and love. That's Joseph Penn in the Race Control booth letting us know, hey, there's no tunnels here, but there is a bridge. In its own sense, I would say. Looks like qualifying, I think it's going to be a longer qualifying. Looks like a 10-minute qualifying session here this evening. A little bit longer than we've seen in the past to give drivers a chance to get familiar here at the road course. Weeks currently qualified 6th in the 97. There. Will he be able to best a 1:44.42 his opening lap as he crosses the line? What's it gonna be? A 1:45.57, so no, he does not improve. Let's look at Silvers. He was very fast in the All-American Truck Series that ran here on Wednesday. Did not put down a timed lap on his first sight around, but that time by a 1:44.10. That's going to be good enough for 6th. Edging back Weeks just ever so slightly. Not a lot of drivers out on track right now. As I'm trying to see, looks like no, everybody's completed their qualifying times. A lot of drivers did not get a good lap here. I mean, it's a long list. Alex Carr looks like he's about to head out on track. Will he have any time to do anything in the number 1 machine? It's going to be very interesting to see how this pans out amongst the drivers. Who opts to put down times, who decides to play it safe, and maybe say, you know what, I can start from the back here tonight. I won't have any issues. And let's get ready to send them out for today's main event. As we pull up the grid for you, starting on pole, Jumpin' Johnny Eckert in the number 90 machine. David Tooker starts 2nd. Matthew Weeks starting 3rd. Zach Rogers starting 4th. Alex Penn starting 5th. Casey Carrington starting 6th. James SoundCloud Silver starting 7th. DJ Weeks Jr. starting 8th. Radburn Shutter starting 9th. Mike Husby 10th on the grid. Gareth McAllister, the world-famous birthday boy, starting 11th. Robert Hill Jr. starting 12th here tonight. We've got Kyle Hall starting 13th. Justin Ray starting 14th. Let's see, Gus Moody starting 15th. Finley Fitzsimmons starting 16th. Nick Terrell starting 17th. Jacob Fest-Cannon starting 18th. Jack Mundy, starting 19th. Greg Martin starting 20th. Cody McCorkle starting 21st. Greg Carr 22nd. Wyatt Nadel starting 23rd. Devin Scroggins 24th on the grid. And then we've got Alex Carr rounding out the 25-car grid here tonight as we get ready to roll out on our formation and sighting lap. Question for the fans at home, will we see the safety car come out? Will we have a full course caution as the track goes green? And here we go for 46 laps. Already your race leaders wicking it around here as the field looks like it made it through fairly well, 2 by 2 as far back as you can see. What a great shot here in Canada as we watch Tooker and Eckert still battling side by side. Zach Rogers, number 4 machine, looks to get his nose up in the mix as your race leaders are still side by side here. Making their way down the sweeping back straight. It's still Tooker and Eckert side by side once more. Hanging on each other a little bit there. McAllister has an off-track excursion. Looks like that's Fest-Cannon who will be accompanying the 888 machine. A little bit of damage on this side of the out-back 888, but no harm, no foul. Long race still left to go. And look at this madness. Fitzsimmons battling out with Robert Hill Jr. trying to catch up to Mike Husby's number 6 machine. As Eckert holds on to the race lead, Tucker right behind. So very impressed with the drivers. In a race you're expecting a lot of big incidents. You can tell drivers have been practicing quite hard for this main event on this road course. Let's go a little bit further back. It's going to be a 3-car battle for 4th, excuse me. You've got Matthew Weeks, number 11, Casey Carrington, number 5, and Alex Penn at the number 6. But we've got problems elsewhere on track as Cody McCorkle has been involved in an incident. And the number 2 machine looks like that machine may be a little bit off kilter here. As he's got Greg Carr and Jacob Vestkanen right behind him. A little bit further ahead, here's the battle between Husby and Hill. Kyle Hall was involved in some sort of incident. Not quite sure what it was. Let's take a look, see what happened to that trademark 87 machine. Hard on the brakes. Up and just sends it whipping around. Thankfully for him, hops out of traffic. Not going to get tied up. But look at this, David Tooker, your 2nd place driver, has his fastest lap of the race on 142.82, but his race leader, Chuck Johnny Eckert, has a 142.4 so far. A little bit further back to the battle of 9. Shutters and Fitzsimmons keep swapping back and forth here. Looks like it's going to be Fitzsimmons up on the inside line. Look at this. Mike Husby's going to try and follow his way through in the number 6 machine. And again, this is a 3-car battle for 9th. Here comes Husby. Looks like Robert Hill Jr. looking for a way through as well. But just behind them, Justin Ray has issues. I wonder if that was the exact same move we saw out of Kyle Hall. As I think right behind him, I heard more carnage. Devin Scroggins has a moment. Let's see what happened to Ray first. We're looking to see if Ray sends it careening around. He does just that. And let's pan back just a little bit further on the same replay to see what happened to Scroggins. Ooh, too hard on the brakes and a massive hit for the 66. As we come back live, Cody McCorkle's been having more issues out of number 2 machine. He's still up 2 spots from where he qualified. A little bit farther ahead, Carrington and Penn still linked up, but a big crash towards the back as Kyle Hall and Gareth McAllister. Oh man, the boys are having a rough go of it here tonight. Now let's see if Wyatt Nadel, Justin Ray, Gus Moody, all here in a tight pack trying to work their way around the 87 machine. And what happened to Kyle Hall? He's disconnected. He is going, gone here. As unfortunately, Hall, I believe, will be hit with the old disconnect as this shows him back on pit road. And staying right there with Carrington. They're trying to work together and see if they can reel up to Matthew Weeks, the number 11 machine. As you're on board with Alex Penn, you can hear the tire chirp right as we pan to that onboard camera. Lost a whole lot of time, almost a half second there to Carrington. And we get to see what may be a great battle shaping up. Let's see, is Carrington going to catch up to Weeks in the battle for fourth? But look at that, Alex Penn's got right back in the mix. Caught up to the Kellogg's back number 9 of Carrington. Can't tell whose contact was from that. Was that Carrington? A little bit of right side damage. Possibly Alex Penn, who seems he's been having a tough go keeping the power out of that number 30 machine. Alex, looks like Kyle Hall, after that big disconnect, has returned to pit road. Hopefully he gets back out on track and turn some laps. At least try and score some points here. As who is that? That looks like it's Finley Fitzsimmons. Has been gaining some ground here in the 06. He's up 9 positions thus far. And now we may have a 4-car battle for the 4th place spot. It's Weeks, Carrington, Penn, Fitzsimmons all in this fray. They've got about 3 1/4 seconds over SoundCloud Silver's number 17 machine, who's currently running 8th out on track. Getting a little bit exciting. Here comes Fitzsimmons trying to catch up to Alex Penn. Alex Penn knows he's got to keep the pressure on Carrington, that forward momentum. But I think what we're going to see here tonight is a 46-lap test of who can play it safe, make the least amount of mistakes. Now we're expecting the fuel window to open up around lap 20 to 23, about the halfway mark. You'll see most of these drivers coming down pit road. As Fitzsimmons makes his way up into 6th. Now up 10 positions in the subway back to 6. The Flying Brit making some good time here. Fitzsimmons definitely our hard charger so far of the evening. Now about a half-second back from Carrington. Now as it stands, Eckert and Tooker, your race leaders, are fairly far ahead of this pack we're seeing out on track in the battle for fourth. Comes Fitzsimmons trying to make a move on Carrington. He's got a massive run, throws it up the inside, and makes it stick nice and easy. So Fitzsimmons takes over the 5th place spot from Carrington with a massive dive. Fitzsimmons will have number 11 of Matthew Weeks, 4th out on track inside 1 second ahead. Now these two drivers, their fastest laps are only a 10th apart, with Fitzsimmons having the advantage. Separating Weeks from Fitzsimmons. Weeks had a big bobble on that last lap. He was just about a second slower than the 06 machine as we continue watching the battle for 4th unfold. Oh, Fitzsimmons looks for an opening, finds the door shut from Weeks. Takes a little bit of time to build up the momentum here on the road course. Who's going to have the drive out, as both Weeks and Fitzsimmons had a bit of wheel spin there. Going to lose that drive as they're about a quarter of a second between Weeks and Fitzsimmons. As, man, the battle for 4th is quite spectacular. All race long, these guys have been nose to tail. And it looks like they're gaining just a slight amount of ground on Zach Rogers, running in 3rd. But look at that, Fitzsimmons able to make the pass. As Alex Penn and Carrington duke it out side by side, the 30 and the 9. Who's going to have the drive out of the corner? Ooh, Alex Penn flat tracks it around, using all of the track surface and then a little bit, continuously changing inside the top 7 here. Now that has cost Fitzsimmons a lot of time in the favor of Zach Rogers, currently in the 3rd place spot. At one point, that gap was only about 3 seconds, now about 3.6, 3.7. Fitzsimmons aggressively using the curbing there, but he has closed the gap to about 3.3 seconds between himself and Zach Rogers. Let's go a little bit further back in the field where Gus Moody breathing down the neck of Wyatt Nadel's 04 machine. This is going to be the battle for 19th out on track. Oh, both drivers cook it off the track there. Not sure if there may have been a little bit of contact and if both those drivers are going to have a slowdown penalty. As we go a little bit further forward, here's the battle for 16th between McCormick and McAllister. Both those drivers have had their fair share of woes here this evening. Oh, and around goes McCorkle. McAllister able to slide through there, a narrow save. But Craig Martin also has problems in the 22 machine. Man, is that an easy car to spot? I believe Craig's got a new title sponsor here this evening. BoostPerformance.ca on the number 22, the Canadian. As well, there goes Robert Hill, as he has McAllister right behind him in the AAA. Looks like McAllister may be able to slide through here. Wyatt Nadel has problems in the 04. Alex Carr goes off track to avoid him. But Nadel still has a little bit better drive out of the corner. Now going a little bit further ahead. Matthew Weeks staying right there. Well, about a second and a half away from Fitzsimmons, but he's got a lot of pressure from Alex Penn. There's a lot of smoke across the raceway here tonight. Right now, your top five, Eckert, Tooker, Rogers, Fitzsimmons, and Weeks, as things continuously heating up here, but now they've got traffic to contend with, as I believe that's about 20th to 25th place we see ahead of this battle for fifth. Let's pan just a little bit further ahead to Zach Rogers. He's got Devin Scroggins to 66, about to go a lap down here. Now, Rogers doesn't want to slow down too much because he's got Fitzsimmons doing everything in his power to make some big moves, make some time up. But Rogers getting slowed down, having to navigate the field here. Oh, we're about to see a battle for the top three, ladies and gentlemen. As now Rogers gonna have pressure from Fitzsimmons, who's closed the gap down to 6/10. Fitzsimmons about to elbow some traffic out of the way. Rogers extends the gap back to 1 second. Much anticipated battle for third unfold. Rogers holds on to about a 9/10 advantage over Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons trying to catch that draft on the brief straights whenever he can. But tonight, definitely all about momentum. Who can get the drives? It looks like Fitzsimmons gains about a 10 through that section of the raceway. Now Fitzsimmons is a road racer turned oval racer. So very experienced when it comes to the right-hand corners. But Rogers doing a great job tonight. He's up one spot in the number 4. And currently sitting in that podium contention. With a massive bobble. Drills the guardrails in the 06 machine, but still staying right there with Rogers. Looks like a little bit of brakes cooking off. That might have been from Hall's race. That machine going a lap down to this battle for 3rd. Rogers able to get around traffic just a little bit more cleanly, and no, Fitzsimmons gets hit by Hall. And that is going to give back Rogers a much-needed chance of a break there, and the field stacks up slightly behind it. Now it's been trying to make a move on Matthew Weeks to work that number 30 up into the top 5. Once again, the field's starting to stretch out, and I'm a little surprised here. Eckert finds himself a little bit more company in the likes of David Tooker in the 83 machine. This will be the battle for the lead. Oh, as we got, I think that was Gus Moody off track, right ahead of your race leaders. A white knuckle moment. There's a lot of the drivers out on track this evening. Definitely not road racers by trade. Just coming out, salvaging the evening and scoring some points so we can get back to the ovals. But here comes Tooker, a half second behind the number 90, your race leader. Tooker staying about 3/4 back. Now look at this. Matthew Weeks will be one of our first drivers into pit road with a green flag stop here at lap 16. very interesting to see how traffic is continuously a factor here. This takes one bobble from somewhere else. As Eckert gains about a 2-second gap over Tooker to regain that lead. So how long will Eckert, Tooker, and the rest of the field up inside these top 5 opt to stay out? Will this be a one-stop race? As things stretching out here. Now it looks like Fitzsimmons once again closing the gap on third place driver Zach Rogers. Interesting to see. It looks like things definitely get stretched out. Your top 11 drivers have yet to come down pit road. Matthew Weeks, who came in a lap 15, currently on track in about the 12th place spot. As Fitzsimmons has taken over third place, checked out by about a second and a half for Zach Rogers. But when will we see these drivers come down pit road? The lap times have rapidly fallen off. Even the fastest guys in the pointy end of the field, 3 to 4 seconds off their fastest lap of the race. Right now, your hard charger still fiddling Fitzsimmons in the 06 machine, up 13 spots into a podium spot. Currently third on track, but we've got a battle now between Jack Mundy and Mike Husby for the 8th place position. Husby all over the British driver of Mundy. But surely if Mundy's been able to gain 11 spots, maybe he can hold off that 6th machine as he continues to try and charge forward here. Ooh, a little bit of bumping and grinding going on there as Mundy launches it. Husby's going to lose a whole lot of time. I think he's got a slowdown penalty as the round goes Alex Penn. A little bit further back, a battle between McAllister and McCorkle for 15. McCorkle has been fighting that number 2 all night. Now he came in the last for 4 fresh tires and a tank of gas, so he's looking at a 2-stop race here tonight. I would imagine the early pit. The drivers having a really tough time with the tires. Coming back out on track with cold tires and can get a little bit tougher to hold on to here. As McAllister has his big moment as well. I'm McCorkle to take over the 15th place spot. Let's check back in with your race leader. Eckert, a second and a half ahead of David Tooker. Tooker about a second behind and holding behind Eckert. I'm really interested to see how the pit strategy is going to pay out for these top 2 drivers. They've gained a 16-second advantage over David Tooker, or excuse me, over Finley Fitzsimmons in the 3rd place spot. But to give Fitzsimmons his credit, he is up 13 positions here. We are just about to the halfway mark. We've got 26 laps left to go. And making just about 25 as Eckert and Tooker make their way around. Got another battle shaping up. Matthew Weeks. No, Weeks has worked his way around Radburn Shutters after his early lap 15 pit stop. But one does have to ask, will Weeks be able to go all the way to the end here after coming down pit road so early? As the current top 10 have yet to box. So it looks like you're going to have a few different drivers on a 2-stop strategy. Well, I believe at this point the top 10 looking for a 1-stop. Let's go back up front because things are getting interesting. Eckert has Tooker just a half-second behind him here. Finley Fitzsimmons in 3rd, comes down pit road on lap 21. Are we going to see a battle for the lead unfold? Or is Tooker going to play it safe here? Now Tooker racing for Mountain Man Motorsports. Eckert returning back out on track for Outlaw Racing. So two different teams looking to do battle. Fitzsimmons rolling back out on track. He will be 7th after the lap 21 stop. Taking 4 tires and tank of gas. I would imagine he's good to go to the end here. Now their last lap, Tooker was about a second faster than your race leader Eckert. But both these drivers are 3 to 4 seconds off their fastest laps of the evening. As it looks like Eckert gets a little bit better drive there, but Tooker staying in the draft of the number 90. Tooker decides to come down pit road. Eckert stays out. So here's that pit strategy we were talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Where will Tooker be out on track? Once he rejoins after this very brief pit stop on lap 22. Rogers has moved up to 2nd. Let's see if Tooker holds on to 3rd when he gets back out on track, out of his pit stall. And just about back out on track. Drivers have to be very careful coming back out onto the surface. You've got a very fresh set of tires underneath you, brand new. They're going to be cold. They're not going to have the heat built up for the maximum amount of traction you're looking for. If you're not careful after running almost 21, 22 laps on a very tight race car, it might be a little bit more likely to whip around on you. Greg Martin, number 22 machine, does a great job respecting the blue flag, hopping out of the way of your overall race leader, jumping Johnny Eckert. Now, will we see Eckert come down pit road this time by, or will he try and stretch that run out a little bit further? He's currently 21 seconds ahead of 2nd place Zach Rogers. And here we go. This is where it's going to get exciting. Eckert comes down pit road. Let's pan back to Tooker. Tooker is about 5.5 seconds back from Rogers in 2nd, but Rogers has yet to come down pit road. So the big question is, who will be in the lead once he rolls out of pit road here? Rogers comes down pit road as well. Tooker is going to put the hammer down the 83 machine. Eckert just getting ready to leave his pit stall. And Tooker will take over the race lead with 23 laps left to go. How big will the advantage be over Eckert? Oh, here comes the 90 machine. As look at that, Fitzsimmons clicks off the fastest lap of the race as he's now 3rd. A 142.39, so your top 3 have all come down pit road. Tooker's going to try and navigate traffic as quick as he possibly can because Eckert just a 1.5 seconds behind him. McAllister trying to hop out of the way of Tooker as he goes down another lap here in the 888 machine. Looks like no bloomin' onions will be given out this evening. The laps clicking off past the halfway mark. And Tooker with a current 2.4 second advantage as Eckert stayed out 1 lap later than the 83 machine. So Tooker decided, you know what? I followed the 90. Let's see if we can get out front, and maybe it's our turn to be a little bit defensive here. So everybody inside the top 5 except for DJ Weeks Jr. in 4th has come down pit road. And we think most drivers are good to go here if they pit past that lap 22 mark. Gonna be interesting to see if Tooker may be getting a little bit tight on fuel. It's well done to traffic as well, very quickly hopping out of the way of the race leaders as quickly as they can, not wanting to interfere with any of the race shenanigans. Tooker holding about a 1.3 second advantage over Eckert. As Tooker has a whole lot of traffic to contend with, that allows Eckert to close the gap to 0.3 of a second here. Let's see, will we have a battle for the lead here? Eckert takes a peek. He has a big run. Nothing to do with it yet. Tooker drives defensively. watching patiently to see what's going to happen here. Oh, will traffic play a factor as well? Eckert takes a peek to look along the inside of the 83 as they make their way through traffic. Tooker holds on to it, but man, it's not going to be that easy. They made their way around Scroggins, and I believe that may be Best Cannon just ahead of them. Best Cannon of 14th on track, still technically on the lead lap, but I don't know for how much longer. As Fescannon goes for a wild ride just ahead of his leaders. Late in the race, 18 laps left to go. And still just 3/10 separates the race leader, David Tooker, from Eckert in second. This is very much a game of traffic management. Who can make the most and safest passes to work their way around, because Eckert not getting off the back of that 83 even for a moment. As Devin Scroggins, the 81, and trying to make that car as small as he can to help him pass. And Tooker having no time to really set up those passes safely, as he knows he has to take advantage of any moment of weakness, any slowdown. That number 90 machine will come barreling back into the picture. Seventeen laps left to go. Still 3/10. Separating Tooker and Eckert here. Very impressed. I mean, now, here's another interesting question. Is Eckert maybe keeping the pressure on Tooker, thinking that maybe a little bit tight on fuel here to make it till the end? Here we go, Eckert trying to get lined up. Still not able to make a move here. Oh, a little bit off track. That's where we saw some drivers tag the ball earlier. Now, very interesting. I think Eckert personally is just trying to keep the pressure on Tooker, keep that pace up. To burn off a little bit more fuel, and it's going to be tight down to the wire. Who has the gas to make it to the end? As for the last 5 or so laps, these guys have been right there with each other. Less than a half second at most points. About a 6/10 gap. That's the almost longest gap of distance we've seen between the two so far. But already Eckert quickly closing it to about 4/10. Still 6/10 separating the two race leaders. This is still, we are almost 32 laps into this main event. Still the closest battle we have out on track. Just 15 laps left to go. Greg Martin slides aside to let this battle for the lead quickly on by. Our Chargers on track will be Finley Fitzsimmons in the 06 in podium contention. He's up 13 spots. Jack Mundy in 7th. He's up 12 positions. So good to see some of these drivers making some big charges up towards the front. Oh no, speaking of that, Fitzsimmons has some sort of incident, as I believe one of the car drivers was involved in that. I think it was Alex's car. Let's take a look and see what happened to Fitzsimmons. In the 06, looks like he was a little bit out of sorts all on his lonesome. Oh, and finds himself with traffic turning around. Alex's car had blocked the raceway. Fitzsimmons must not have seen the yellow flag. will hold on to that third place spot, but now he'll be driving a little bit wounded in the 06. Back to the battle for 7th. Jack Mundy finds some company from Alex Penn, number 30. Casey Carrington in 6th, just ahead. So if Mundy can wick it up a little bit, it might be a battle for 6th. As up front, Tooker and Eckert are apart by about 0.6 of a second. Simmons finds himself on pit road after a tow. What happened to the European driver who was running so strong here tonight? Oh, what is this? What happened to Fitzsimmons taking a tow after cutting the track? I'm trying to see who that number 25 machine was that was involved in that one. Absolute gut-wrenching for Fitzsimmons, who's looking for his first ever podium, and he has sent it back to the virtual hauler after, I believe that was Greg Carr, an innocent bystander, the number 19 machine. As still, with 12 laps left to go, Tooker and Eckert once again just 3 tenths apart here. I'm sure this race feels like a lifetime. When the drivers behind the wheel, a little bit more tiring than the usual oval racing we have here at the All-American ARCA Series, but so far the guys putting on a great showing. Now with Fitzsimmons going back and retiring for the evening, that has given Tooker and Eckert a 42nd, with a 4, ladies and gentlemen, advantage over Zach Rogers in third. Rogers, he's got about a 15-second gap from anybody close behind him, so he's not sweating too much here. Has just about 11 laps left to go to hold on to it. as Eckert stays within a half second of your race leader. A little bit of lap traffic behind them enjoying the show. As we cycle back, we still got a battle for fifth. About to be a three-car battle for fifth with Carrington, Penn, and Mundy all in the mix. Less than a second separating these two drivers. And they will have, looks like a whole lot of lap traffic to contend with. I see Scroggins and the youth back 66 just ahead. Scroggins pulls over, parks on the grass as Alex Penn, Casey Carrington goes side by side, but it looked like there might have been some carnage ahead of them. As we saw somebody fishtailing it across the surface. That may have been the 25 of Greg Carr. Yes, it was. Alex Penn looks for a way through, not lifting. Holding it wide, and he really holds on to six. As now Carrington will have his hands full with a young British driver of Jack Mundy. Mundy, now our hard charger on track, up 12 spots, throws it in deep on the inside line, leaning on Carrington heavily. Oh, look at that. Mundy with a big moment, loses a little bit of drive, but Carrington has a 500th of a second advantage. Mundy trying to make the track small here. Carrington trying to gain as much speed as he can. Who's going to have it on the brakes? Here comes Mundy up along the inside. And he will take over the sixth place spot, now up 13 positions. This has allowed Alex Penn to stretch his gap to 2-second advantage. Meanwhile, up front, David Tooker still holding on to it. He's 8/10 ahead of Eckert. But this has very much been a game of tire management, fuel management, as well as traffic management, arguably being the most important factor. For the first time in a long time, Tooker has a over 1 second lead with 9 laps left to go. As that number 83 machine looking quite smart. Now Tooker only up 1 spot from where he started. The first half of the race, it was Eckert and Tooker running first and second. The second half, the roles have been reversed. So both drivers have had ample opportunity to measure each other up. And the million-dollar question, the race-winning question, kind of twofold. Will Tooker have enough fuel to go out till the end? And will the lap traffic gods smile in favor of that 83? Tooker, Scroggins takes a very interesting line there through the chicane. Neither driver losing a whole lot of time there. of the traffic ahead of Tooker. That's Kyle Hall in the 87 machine, trying to see who else may be there. Can't tell if that's maybe Shutters in the number 5 machine. No, that's McAllister in the 888 Outback race car machine. Kyle Hall goes wide to try and allow Tooker and Eckert by. Oh, maybe not too easy as he almost gets to the side of Tooker's 83 machine. Eckert still is 4 tenths behind, as both drivers able to get around Hall. Man, these running orders have been kind of like a yo-yo. Tooker will gain. Oh, here we go. Let me interrupt myself. Eckert throws it up the inside line. Tooker tries to answer back. They both exit the drive side by side. Looks like Eckert maybe had a bit more momentum there, but a bit of a shimmy out the back of the 90 will allow Tooker to take over the race lead. Contact between the two. Eckert off track. Will he have a slowdown here? Surely he will, as that was most assuredly off the racing surface. But what that means is Eckert may have to slow down and give back the time within a certain amount. But it certainly doesn't look like it. Now Eckert will hold on to the race lead. Will Tooker be able to answer? Will Eckert stretch his legs and keep things moving in forward progress? Eckert with about an 8/10 advantage, 6 laps left to go. We got Banana join us as he wins the race. So once again, the roles reverse for Eckert and Tooker. Eckert, your race leader with an 8/10 advantage. Tooker follows close behind, still 40 seconds ahead of the nearest competitor here. As Eckert pulls a 1-second gap over the 83 machine. Now, Eckert came in a lap 23, Tooker a lap 22, so Eckert will have just 1 lap newer tires. But the pace has been mighty quick since those pit stops. And I don't think either one of those drivers was doing a whole lot of fuel or tire saving. Gotten some very fast lap times now. Late into the race, they're about 6 seconds off their fastest laps of the evening. And we're down to just 11 drivers on the lead lap out of the 25 that entered, with 23 drivers still out on track. McCorkle goes wide to allow Eckert to turn by. As Tooker still in high pursuit of number 93, not trying to let him by. Just 5 laps left to go. Eckert's pulled a 1.1 second advantage over Tooker. The laps quickly ticking off here as we still have some good battles out on track between Carrington and Lundy in the battle for 6th. For a lot of drivers here tonight, it has absolutely been a race of attrition. As things look to be settling down across the raceway, Eckert with a 1.3 second advantage over Tooker. Tooker with over 43 seconds ahead over third place Zach Rogers. Now, if you've ever seen a race where drivers don't take the entire lap for their cooldown, I think this is going to be it, my friends. The laps rapidly clicking off here in Canada. It's Eckert, Tooker, Rogers, Penn, Carrington, your current top 5. There's a lot of drivers getting cycled out. Again, still just 11 drivers on the lead lap, but we still have 23 cars out there rocking and rolling. Let's make it 2 laps left to go as Eckert still extending his gap. He was just about a quarter of a second faster than Tooker that last time by. Getting ready for the white flag to come out. Looks like Eckert looking good to bring home a win here. Barring any mistakes out of that number 90 machine or worse, run-ins with traffic. The fill-in driver for his old number. Having a great run here. Looks like a little bit of traffic ahead of him, but nothing too crazy as the white flag is out. And Eckert currently holding about a 2-second advantage over Tooker. A 5-second advantage over Zach Rogers. And Rogers really doesn't have any competition near him as well. I haven't talked about the number 4 machine a lot in the last half of this race, but while he is way back from Tooker, he's doing good, ahead about 16 seconds ahead of Alex Penn in 4th, and looking fantastic to bring home a podium here in the Jim Beam back number 4 machine, as he is just now crossing the finish line for his final lap of the evening. We pan back to your race leader, Eckert, as it looks like the cloud coverage coming in a little bit. Little bit of traffic left for Eckert, but I think he's going to be looking good here to bring home a win. As he gets ready for the checkered flag to fly. Here comes Eckert picking up the win in the number 90 machine. Here for the Crew Chiefs Corner 200. David Tooker will bring home a second. And we believe Rogers will bring home a third, but that's going to really depend on if he has any last-minute problems. And yes, Rogers will securely bring home the 3rd place finish after a grueling race for these drivers. As Eckert enjoys the moment, getting back out on track and burning it down. We're going to try and get these top 3 drivers up into victory lane. So up first, we're going to get accompanied by Mr. Zach Rogers, the number 4 machine, bringing home a good, solid 3rd and a relatively clean race car at the end of this thing.
Howdy, sir.
Howdy, my friend. Good to talk to you again. Good to see you up here after a pretty grueling race for everybody.
Yeah, it was something. It I don't know, it went a bit smoother than I thought. I kept my nose pretty clean. Shout out to Finzo, man. That sucks that he disconnected. He had the speed for this spot. I hate that happened to him. I don't know if his strategy would have got him there. I was kind of questioning him coming in as early as he did, but he for sure should have been in contention.
Yeah, we question a lot of things our favorite Brit does, but you're right. He had a good run, and you're able to capitalize on a little bit of misfortune out of that '06 machine. Now, I mean, Zach, what was your plan and strategy? It looks like most drivers kind of went into this with a one-stop strategy in mind, but you're right. We saw some drivers maybe looking at a two-stop, or were they just trying to, you think, stretch it out? I'm not quite sure. So, looking for your feedback on this one.
I had a good feeling it was going to be one stop. I mean, pretty much every road course we've done has been a one stop. I don't really know why it would have been any different at this particular track. I think the truck race on Wednesday was one stop, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm just glad it worked out how it did, really.
Now, Zach, did you expect to see any full course cautions with maybe some opening lap shenanigans, or were you pretty confident that the opening few corners are going to be relatively mild instead of wild?
I think everybody was just nervous enough to where we were all going to be pretty easy on that opening lap, so I wasn't expecting a whole lot. No, that first turn is pretty open. There's pretty good room to run off. Maybe once we got into the narrower section, into 3 and 4, maybe things are crazy through there still. But I think by that time everybody gapped out pretty well.
Well, Zach, it was a great run tonight. Good to have you back up here inside the top three, and glad to see you just kind of pull off something and score some big points for the team. And before I let you sign off, who'd like to give a shout out to that helped you get up here tonight?
Just everybody at Mountain Man. Good job to Tucker for P2. If he stayed out an extra lap and pit with me and Johnny, I think he could have had a shot to win it. But good job to him nonetheless, and everybody else racing with us. Big shout out to Husby for the paint again. He's done a lot for as far as painting cars for everybody around here, and just everybody who helps put this thing on.
Awesome, Zach. Great job tonight, and hope to see you back up here in the very near future, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That was Zach Rogers in the number 4 machine, bringing home third. Up next, David Tooker in the 83. David, a great run out there in the 83, and looked like you were definitely one of the fastest cars on track all race long.
Yeah, it was a great race between me and Johnny. We were side by side that entire first lap, almost the entire first lap, which was really cool. A lot of respect racing Johnny. He's one of the better road course guys in a stock car that I know of, and me and him, there's a lot of respect between each other, and it was just really cool to run side by side for that long because not many people can do that. So, but congrats to him on the win. But like you said, James, just a really fast run tonight.
Now, Dave, excuse me, David, we saw you come in with a little bit of an undercut on lap 22, while a lot of the top 5 drivers came in on lap 23. What was going on with you and the team there to make that call and try and do a little bit different strategy than some of the other drivers?
It was kind of just a last second call. I knew we were going to be tight on fuel for that next lap. I think I came into pit row with 0.9 left on fuel, so I just didn't really want to risk running out on the track, and I knew at that point I was like, I got to stick to the undercut. I knew with tire fall off that I was going to get ahead of Johnny. I just needed to save that extra lap before he could get to me. I had like about a 4 second buffer, but just caught some lap traffic in a bad spot, which really set us back a little bit. And then he got to within a second, and that entire time I was up there leading. I was trying to save as much fuel as I could, going from the start finish line all the way through turn 2, turn 3 and 4, and even 5. Almost every corner I was just trying to save the little bit so I could race him on the last lap, but no, he just happened to get by me, and I just had to save to the end there and coast for second.
Now, yeah, David, talking about the fuel saving and kind of combination with the tire fall off, we are seeing lap times from you top 3 drivers fall off 4, 5, 6 seconds. I mean, is what makes this track just so brutal on tires for a road course?
It's mostly just since it's a lot of slow paced corners. It's a lot of tight corners. There's not really a lot of fast corners here. It's all left and rights, back to backs, chicanes. Like I said, just really tight corners, and turning the wheel as hard as we were, and trying to get back to the gas as quick as you can. It was really a struggle just dealing with the rear tire spin coming off the corners. Really had to work the throttle, which That's what I love about these road courses is you gotta it really gets put into the driver's hands of tire saving and fuel saving and knowing when to make passes and making smart ones. But um, like I said, just come up a little short. But if I'm gonna do it, it's gonna be to that guy who's waiting in the waiting room.
Awesome. David, great run tonight, man. Good to have you back up here. And before I let you sign off, who'd you like to give a shout out to that helped you get up here with that second place finish?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to everybody at Mountain Men Motorsports and C3. Robert Hill Jr. especially. I know I say it every interview, but um, he gave me a chance to come run one of his cars, and I couldn't be happier to do it for him. Was looking at win number 4 right there, but just had to save a little bit of fuel and just didn't quite fall into our hands. But that's just how it is. You know, we're happy with second. But also want to thank everybody at All American ARCA Series for what they do for this league. Casey Carrington, Johnny Eckertson official, everybody that is tied in with this series to make it run the way it does. I love running this league. I've had a very fun time running here. And also you, James, for what you do up in the booth for us, Team Goon Squad. I appreciate what you guys are doing. I love watching the broadcast over, and this will probably be a one that I'll watch days on end. But I just want to thank everybody that makes what we're doing possible.
Awesome. Well said, my friend. Good to have you back up here, and hopefully that'll be a common occurrence for the rest of the season.
All righty. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, sir. That was David Tooker finishing second, but up next, the man of the hour, Jumpin' Johnny Eckert, making your way out of the race control booth to put on some hot laps here in Canada.
Woohoo! I'm happy. I'm really happy. I've run a lot here recently, and thankfully I was able to use some of that to my advantage today.
Now, Johnny, I mean, from start to finish, it was pretty much excitement and tight racing. The opening laps, we saw you and Tooker side by side. Midway through, we saw a little bit different pit strategy pay out for the both of you. And then, I mean, for about 10, 15 laps, it was about half second or less separating you guys over the run.
Yeah, when we started to get separated there, I was starting to get a little bit worried because, as I was telling Tuka before he got pulled into the interview, the first run I just started to lose the rear tires, but at the same time I was trying to keep a little bit of extra fuel in however I could. So if I had like a 1.5 second gap, I was trying to keep it at 1. So just try to save a little bit so I can go that extra lap. But I started to get to the point where I was trying to save while also burning my rear tires off, something really awful. So I was concerned about what would happen in the second run as the run went on. So I did my best to kind of just be patient and see if maybe he would make a mistake or something. He had a couple moments, but he was doing a really, really good job. And then all of a sudden, going into turn 1, I knew that he was braking a little bit earlier sometimes, a little bit later sometimes, and I noticed that specific time that I was within range that I had a chance and that he braked early, and I was like, this is my moment. So I got on the brakes, moved over, and we had a really, really hard battle at the beginning of the race. So I knew that when we raced side by side in that section that he was gonna race me clean, and had a small moment, but it was just hard racing, not anything more than that. So yeah, that was a chaotic finish.
Now, Johnny, over the course of the run, what would you say was what you guys were thinking was more important? Was it going to be fuel saving, tire saving? What was the big issue for you and the team to make it through tonight's event?
The fuel was the big question mark because I knew that you could go about 23 laps, but you needed to do that twice. And I didn't realize how close I cut it. I crossed the line with zero point 0.1 gallons, even going an extra lap, and Tucker was saving to get to that extra lap. So, the fuel was probably the biggest thing. But we had thrown a couple strategies around potentially for the race tonight. But it really looked like that this was going to be the only way, and it was a combo of trying not to waste fuel spinning your tires in low gears, try to keep up the lap time while also obviously keeping the tires under you. But once the temp started to cool off after that first run, it really just became making sure that you could get it to the end fuel wise versus the tires, which was a bigger issue in the first half.
Well, a lot of fun to watch. Great racing from start to finish, and you've got the privilege, the pleasure, my friend, the final send-offs of the evening. Who do you want to give a shout out to that's cheering you and that number 90 machine up here in the top spot of Victory Lane?
First off, thank you for broadcasting. Thank you to the admins for putting on the league. Thanks to Joe for letting me letting me go tonight. Unfortunately, he's gonna let me go a couple weeks as I'm not gonna be here one day. Again. So I want to thank him too. But I got to thank my teammates, DJ Weeks and Mike Husby. I mean, they like I say it every week, every time I'm in the interview room. But my teammates, help more than they realize. Just little things that are going on around the track makes a big difference for me, and it helps me out. I love data. I love any bit of information. So anything they say comes really big handy for me. But yeah, I want to thank them for all their help. Pro Air. Medical supplies for supporting the team, and I think my family too. I've been up here a few times, and I've never really thanked my family. I mean, Friday nights can be rough, so I want to thank them for supporting me and always making sure that I have a chance to race when get here for practice at the beginning, and work with me to get here, and yeah. So I want to thank them too, and yeah, I'm looking forward to. I got my race quota out of the way, so I'm looking forward to being back in the booth next week again. But yeah, really excited about this. I'm really excited about this Montreal, man. Road courses, I love roadies.
Awesome, John. Great time talking to you, my friend. Congratulations on a hard-fought win, and good to have you back up here.
I really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you, my friend. And that was Johnny Eckert putting in the top spot here at Montreal for the Crew Chiefs Corner 200. Presented by Open Group. Tucker rounding out or bringing home a second, and Zach Rogers rounding out the podium with a hard-fought third. As always, on behalf of the All-American ARCA Series as well as Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, my name is James East. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will see you same time, same place next week. Have a great night, everybody.